in Toronto, and also by Miranda Ferrier, president of the Ontario Personal Support Worker Association. They're going to answer your questions, and with an aging population and us aging as well, I'm sure you have lots of questions. You can post them in the comments section on those sites. And David, just before we get to some of those questions from our viewers, which I'm really looking forward to, but remind me of what you discovered in this investigation.
Absolutely, Suhana. It's something that we have been looking at for about 2 years now, the issue of long-term care, and particularly what's happening to our mums and dads and grandparents when they go inside a long-term care home. We have seen very good examples of staff who really care, who are really trying their best, but our most recent investigation looks at how they are in many ways outnumbered, that there just simply aren't enough of them, according to those frontline workers, and that comes out as people that are sitting there waiting to use the toilet, sometimes for an hour. The people who can't be washed, residents who can't be washed or are only given a cursory face cloth once a day, and that's about it, because the staff are like a conveyor belt running from one person to the next, to the next, to the next. And we saw this, Suhana, as you know, through hidden camera work of an undercover producer who went into a home here in the Greater Toronto Area, a home that in many ways we think is representative of what is happening elsewhere, because of data that we use to select it.
She's been waiting to use the washroom for like...
All right, David, we're going to leave our viewers to send in their questions, because I do want to remind you that conversation is going to continue. So this is your chance to take part. It'll be online on the CBC Marketplace Twitter page. David is standing by. You can also watch on the CBC News YouTube channel. If you have a question, David's waiting to hear from you. Do not forget to post it in the comments section. Thank you, David.
Thanks very much, Suhana.
And
those questions are now certainly coming in. One coming in from Debbie on Twitter saying, is the only way to get good care to have lots of money to pay for caregivers? As Suhana was asking on News Network, Jane Meadus, you're here with the elderly, the Advocacy Center for the Elderly. Miranda Ferrier, you're with the association which represents personal support workers inside Ontario long-term care homes. To that question that Debbie's asking, what's the best way to get good care, and is it all about getting money?
Well, I mean, the government has to give more money, and there's no question there that the amount of money is not sufficient to take care of the very high needs in long-term care. Hiring personal support workers or hiring caregivers, that should be an extra. That should be to take mom for a walk or have a bit of companionship. It should not be instead of proper care.
You know, another question that's coming in from Jade on YouTube, how can we improve the rates of elder abuse? How can we reduce the rates that we're seeing? Miranda.
I think it plays right into better ratios in long-term care homes. I think there needs to be more scrubs on the floor in long-term care. We hear that from our membership on a daily basis, that they are burnt out, they are exhausted, they're trying to do their best, but there's just not enough staff in long-term care to fit the need.
And that speaks specifically to something that we've been looking to in our investigation about how many frontline workers really right across the country are saying, you know what, it's great to build more beds, and it's great to say we're going to try to guarantee a certain number of care hours to a resident in a long-term care home, but many people are demanding a ratio, saying that like a daycare where you have a certain number of adults to a certain number of kids, there should be the same thing for the other vulnerable populations, seniors in long-term care homes, that there should be a set number of staff according to how many residents there are and according to their particular needs. That's something that we heard in our own investigation. Jade is also asking on YouTube, what can you do to help make residents feel more human, feel better about the situation they're living in? Because after all these years of living independently, suddenly you're stuffed into communal living and you lose some of that independence.
Yeah. And I think what you need is, again, it's people on the floor. So people who aren't just treating you like a widget, right? You need people to be there to talk to you. I think we need to get more of our community in there, though. I think that it's really important that we get more of a sense of community, more activities for people. And that's really what is very important. That's really lacking in long-term care today.
One story that we're going to do for the National tonight, you'll also see it on the CBCNews.ca website over the next couple of days, is looking at a centre in Saskatoon called Sherbrooke, and it has its problems, but it also is making attempts to try to keep people engaged. It has a wine club, it has cats and a dog and birds all over the place, and people have a bit more freedom about when they choose to wake up, as opposed to it being a cattle call all in the morning. And they do that to try to give sort of life back to people, a little bit more independence. Miranda, you must be seeing things like this.
Absolutely. You know, like we actually just met with the Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care a few weeks ago, and they were talking to us about that particular home. And they were talking about possibly bringing that to Ontario and making, you know, the ratios in long-term care a reality. You know, they asked us what ratio do we want to see for a PSW to resident ratio? And I said, what we really need to see is 1 PSW to 8 residents. I think that's where we need to start. There has to be a set resident to PSW ratio.
That's a good segue to what Carol Francie is talking about on YouTube, saying that ratios in home care homes is 5 to 1, as in 5 people who live there to a caregiver. Is that something that you've seen in care homes, 5 to 1?
Not
like that
in
would be
Ontario.
Pretty good, right?
Not in Ontario. I've seen it in New Brunswick.
Yeah.
In New Brunswick, they do have a ratio in New Brunswick in their care homes there, and it is something like 5 to 1, which we were floored when we went there and we visited some of the care homes. For that to happen here in Ontario, they're going to have to hire a whole lot more PSWs and put a whole lot money more into frontline care.
Yeah, there is something that we saw in our own investigation, for instance, is that not unusual to have 1 frontline staffer to 27 residents in a long-term care home. We see that particularly at night, and that's when you can have some of the unpredictability, particularly around those residents who have dementia. Just to continue on with the questions, R. Buckley saying in New Brunswick, at least in St. John, we have ratios in both nursing homes and long-term care homes. That speaks exactly to what you're saying, Miranda. We have to have a certain amount of staffing for certain times of the day, and there is that question about different times of the day. Don't front load it all so that when there are visitors, it looks like there's lots of staff, right?
Oh, yeah.
There is a question also from R. Buckley. Can you speak to the differences in the different provinces? So if we look at Ontario, for instance, no ratio.
So in Ontario, there's no ratios. It really depends. You know, it's sometimes sort of comparing apples to oranges. It's very difficult to compare across Canada. Everything is very different. What is a nursing home? What is a care home? Adding in Ontario private retirement homes, which are not part of our healthcare system, they might be in another province. So it's very difficult to compare. And some provinces have ratios, some provinces have certain things, and some don't.
Just a quick reminder, I'm David Coleman with CBC Marketplace. Taking your questions about long-term care. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, where this is streaming live. We're very curious to hear your questions about long-term care. Perhaps there's something that connects directly to one of your family members. Andrea Atkinson saying we need to have someone in place in all nursing homes to be the bridge between the residents and the employees, and that there needs to be more direct monitoring. Does a bridge like that exist? Have you heard of something like that?
We don't really have that in Ontario or in Canada that I'm aware of.
No.
I think it's an interesting concept. I mean, I think the problem is that so many people now are so frail and so have dementia. I'm not sure whether or not that would be of assistance. It may be of assistance to the family members more. We have to look at different models, and the problem is every model that I'm aware of requires more staff.
Lorraine is asking on YouTube, what's the Canadian average to get into a care home? Do you have numbers like that? How long's the wait?
Oh, gosh.
It really depends on where you are.
Yeah.
In Ontario, it can be, you know, depending on what home you're looking at, it could be 10 years.
What?
Yeah.
Yep. If you're looking to go into specific, ethnic-specific homes, it is not unusual to be 10 years, or the only way to get in is if you're a crisis. So if you're on just the general waiting list, you will never get into some homes in Ontario.
So what does that say? What do we need?
We need more beds.
We need more beds, but then you come to the same problem again, David, where we need more beds, but then we need more PSWs. Like it's, you know.
So we've heard that, for instance, in Ontario, where the provincial government, the Ford government, has said it's going to build thousands of new long-term care beds. Good in the sense that we have an aging population, but your point is, do we even have enough people now to look after the people who are in the beds?
We don't. We didn't. I mean, I'm a personal support worker. I worked in long-term care for a number of years, and I never worked a fully staffed shift. And that's going back to 2006, David. So you can only imagine what it is at now.
Debbie Jensen on YouTube picking up on that and saying, we know we need more staff. Why isn't it happening?
We can't get staff into long-term care. It's a very difficult job. The pay isn't there. The hours are terrible. People work 2 and 3 jobs in order to make a living, especially as support workers. Nurses don't want to work there. And so just to say we'll just hire more staff, it's not happening. We really have to change the culture to make it a desirable place to work.
I know we've only got seconds, and when you're talking about culture, that's hard, but what are some of the things that would need to have the box ticked to change?
You have to recognize personal support workers as a regulated profession, number one. You have to respect the job that they do. Number two, you have to give the nurses a bit of a break and maybe not have them handing out 600 medications on one shift. You know, there's a lot of different things in play to change the culture in long-term care in the province of Ontario and Canada.
There is talk about staff burnout here. Now, you and I have talked about this. Personal support workers, CCAs is the name for them in other provinces.
Yeah.
The whole notion, you and I have talked about it, that so many people leave.
Oh gosh, absolutely. I mean, we did a survey with our personal support workers. We have 30,000 and we surveyed about 13,000 of them. They came back that the biggest reason why they were leaving the field was burnout, and that was an astounding 63.3% said that it was burnout. PSWs are exhausted. They don't have the support required in order to do their job. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's a really sad situation.
The numbers are huge on that when you think about the level of turnover, and you want these people to, you want to have relationships,
absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. PSWs are the front line in healthcare, and they are the ones that know the residents, your loved ones, the best. And so we need to support them so that they can in turn support our loved ones in long-term care.
We're going to continue this discussion on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube with a live stream, but right now we will throw back to Suhana Marchand at News Network for a continuation of the day's news coverage.
Excellent discussion and great questions. Thank you, David. So
and so as we continue here, thanks very much to Jane Meadus, who is here with the Advocacy Centre for the Elderly here in Ontario. Miranda Ferrier, you represent personal support workers with the association in Ontario. That's 30,000 people who really work on the front lines. You know, do you have a parent, a grandparent? Are you perhaps about to make a leap into long-term care? What are the questions you have? What are the concerns you have? What are the things you want answered? That's what we're here. Any question, we're here to kind of tackle those. And I'm going to get right to them because we do have a lot of them. You know, Sean King is asking on Facebook, can you contact your local MP or perhaps provincial representative to demand a legal staff to resident ratio?
Absolutely. This is provincially regulated, so you do need to talk to your MPP or MLA or whatever you have in your province. But that's exactly what you need to do. You need to be really going to them and saying, we really need to change these cultures and add more staffing.
Is there anything that we can do more immediately than establish a legally mandated ratio? You think that's job one?
Honestly, it's you have to start somewhere. I mean, I say to families who have loved ones in long-term care facilities, I always say, you know what, be there more often as you can. I understand people work, we can't always be there.
Sometimes you live in a different city.
Exactly,
too, yeah.
Right? But then find a neighbor, find a friend, find someone who can pop in to ensure that your loved one is being properly cared for and that you're comfortable with what is going on in that home.
And that is a question, Camelia is asking on YouTube, how is it that the community can help? You've talked about, you could try to take political action if you think staff to resident ratios are the right thing. What are other things that people in the community can do? Friends, children, all of that?
I think people can volunteer.
Yeah, absolutely.
All homes have volunteers. If you have a group, let's get in there. Let's get people doing things. And that's part of the problem, is that people sit around a lot during the day. So can you get into that home and help out? Friend programs. I think high school students should be in there, meeting kids. They've had great programs with younger children with daycares going in, and how that really helps people. So we really have to start thinking outside of the box. It's not just providing, a bath and changing and all that sort of thing. You have to provide a much broader amount of care in those homes and socialization.
I'm David Common with CBC Marketplace and The National, and we're having a live stream conversation about long-term care in this country. We were asking, of course, people who have contact with long-term care, who maybe have a family member in it, any kind of questions you have, but we also want to hear from people who work in long-term care. And we do have that Chris Bercy, who is speaking as a nurse, and says another important point is that when staff are burnt out and overworked, they're more likely to call in sick, and that can make the staff ratios even worse and even further compromising customer or client care.
Absolutely. I mean, on a daily basis, we hear constantly about personal support workers and nurses that call the association frustrated because they don't work a fully staffed shift. God forbid on a good weekend in the summer and the sun's out, people want to go to the beach. They don't want to come to work. The work morale in long-term care facilities is immensely low. Now, I'm not saying that's for every long-term care, because there are some phenomenal long-term cares out there across this nation, but for the most part, morale is very low. So would you want to go to a job where you're operating, in essence, a factory line of people? You're not able to conduct your job to the full abilities?
That's the whole notion of regardless of what job it is, you have responsibilities and you want to feel like you're empowered to
Absolutely.
to
Doesn't
actually
matter what
fulfill
job.
those
Yeah.
responsibilities,
Absolutely.
right? Pauline King is on YouTube and says, I'm 66. This is a very good point, Pauline. I'm 66 and very afraid of what will happen to me and my hubby when our time comes. How much lead time should we give to be able to access long-term care in North Simcoe, Ontario? And this is a good point, for people who are watching this live stream in other parts of the country. Think about those who live in more rural environments, those who have a lower population base.
Yeah.
Right. And I think the problem is that certainly in Ontario, and I think in most places, you can't actually apply until you're eligible. So it's a bit of a conundrum, because you want to get on the list because they may be very long, but you can't get on the list until you're actually eligible. So it's quite a problem all over the province. It really depends. I mean, you can look at your waiting list in your area, certainly in Ontario. In Ontario, you can just look at your local health integration network website, and they have the waiting list for the beds in the homes in your area. I'm not sure about other provinces, but you can see what kind of waiting lists they are, and people will choose based on waiting lists sometimes.
Yeah.
So not necessarily, so they'll put their first choice maybe on, but that may be a long wait, so then they'll try to pick something with a shorter list so they can get in. But there's not much you can do.
Yeah, because if I look at what Pauline is saying, I'm assuming Pauline, not only lives in North Simcoe now, but perhaps is well rooted there. You don't want to pick up and have to move far, far away, perhaps from the rest of your family or from the community that you know, right?
I mean, most areas do have homes. I mean, and every area has to have at least one municipal home, and I think most places do have homes. And I think you also have to remember that actually a very small proportion of our population actually go to long-term care. It's not as big as you would think.
I'm going to rip through the next few questions because we have a whole bunch of them. Heather Day Thorburn asking on Facebook, how do we get the issue of mandatory number of care people per resident, this idea of a ratio, how do we get it on the ballot to make sure politicians see this as a national crisis and do something?
Well, I think that you need to speak out to your local MPPs. You need to raise it. You need to raise the concern of not having enough PSWs to care, number one, for residents, not having a proper ratio in long-term care homes. I think that you also need to approach, and like we said before, community-wise, go into your long-term care facilities. Make them realize that you're paying attention to what is happening. We've always said at the association that, change will come truly when the public speaks out and screams for change. That you guys have all the power.
And Stacey, on Twitter, you're saying these are vulnerable people. Why mandatory ratios in daycares for children, but not in care homes? I think that's exactly the same point that you're making here. Debbie Jensen asking on YouTube, why is it, and this is a question for you, Miranda, why is it that PSWs, personal support workers known as CCAs in other provinces, aren't yet regulated?
Well, that's a really tough question, Debbie. I think that we are working on self-regulation with the Ontario government. It's looking like a very big possibility currently for the PSWs in the province of Ontario. We need to be regulated so that PSWs have that respect, have that recognition, have that standardization. It's all about who's knocking at your door or who's providing frontline care for you. And so we truly believe that not only do the PSWs in the province deserve self-regulation through our association, but also be able to know who's caring for them.
That is a very good point. Estelle Ruffalo is saying on YouTube, this is a comment, ratios are a great idea, but it will not happen until the government or society deems seniors to be important. I've seen things in nursing homes that I would consider bordering on neglect. And this is something you deal with day in and day out.
Day in, day out, yeah, absolutely. And like you said, there's lots of really good homes, but it does happen. And it's a lot around those numbers of people and how much care that they're able to provide. It's also around training. Are people trained well enough? PSWs have to have a minimum amount of training, but we hear it runs a gamut as to how well they're actually trained. And I think again, the elderly really are the poor cousin of the healthcare system. Even though they are a large portion of it, it's not a sexy area to go into, and so the doctors, the nurses, everything there, it's not a respected area to go into for a profession.
Which is
sad.
Well, it's sad, but it's also, when you consider where our population leans in this country now, there's a huge cohort of 60 plus people in
The
this
white
country right
tsunami.
now. Yeah.
And they're incoming.
We do have a few more that are still coming in, and we continue to want to hear. We have Jane Meadus from the Advocacy Centre for the Elderly, and Miranda Ferrier, who represents personal support workers here in the province of Ontario, 30,000 of them. Those are the frontline workers in long-term care homes. Here to take any question or comment that you might have about long-term care. Anything that we can do to help answer those questions, please let us know. Next comment is from a former long-term care worker, and the question is, how common is this sentiment? I worked 3 shifts in long-term care in Mississauga. I quit and got a job in a home care agency, one-on-one. I could not believe the state of the residents. I cried after my shift. I will never let a relative go into one unless I could monitor them daily.
We hear it at the association, we hear that daily. I really hate to say that, David, but we do. PSWs call our association, they write us over our social media platforms, and they say, you know, I work in long-term care, I go home, I cry my eyes out. We just had a PSW last week that witnessed such a case of abuse that she can't go back working as a PSW. She said long-term care homes to her, it was atrocious. She didn't feel safe. Administration didn't back her. You know, it was just, we hear these horrific stories at the association because they come to us to share these stories with us, and we offer our support. But, you know, you really got to look at that and think, if the workers are saying this, then who's speaking for the residents?
And I think, you know, we see nurses who go in, they start a job. They don't last long either because the work is so hard.
Yeah.
Because they just don't have enough support, and there's just not enough people there to do the work.
Or the time. You don't have time.
Which is where we keep coming back, this whole idea of having more people there.
You have to.
Because
You
again,
have to.
on the hidden camera investigation that was done by CBC Marketplace and will be rolling out on broadcast and digital platforms of CBC today and over the weekend, that's one thing we saw, is just staff ping-ponging from place to place to place, residents waiting for an hour or more for the toilet.
Yep.
And not uncommonly ending up in incontinence products, diapers basically, adult diapers, just because they can't get to the toilet quickly enough, and then still waiting for the diaper to fill before they're able to change. You and I talked about that. Dawn, I think the sentiment that you've expressed is unfortunately quite common, as our experts here are saying. Lorraine on YouTube is asking, what happens to married couples when they both need care and have to move to a home? What are their chances of staying together?
So there are special rules around that, and it depends. As long as they both need, there's in Ontario, we have a reunification. And so it can be on a crisis basis or on a regular basis. So they do get a bit of a higher priority, but it really depends on what the pressure is on that home.
But a higher priority in that they will end up in a room together, or they'll end up in a home together?
So generally what will happen is that they will end up in a home together, and then the home will try to put them in a room together if that's what they want.
And the whole notion of needs can be different, right? A husband and a wife, or whoever it is in that relationship, could end up having different needs, and so may not actually be eligible for the same home.
In Ontario, if you're in long-term care, you can always get in the long-term care home. The problem is that it depends. If you don't actually need a long-term care home yourself, you don't meet that, even though you're eligible, you probably won't get in because you're going to be so down on the list.
Oh, I see. Okay. Joy Newman is asking on Twitter, what about using more volunteers?
See, that gets a little sticky surrounding liability. I mean, it's wonderful when volunteers come into long-term care facilities and they can wheel around the residents, they can visit with the residents, they can maybe do snack time with the residents. But when it comes to actual personal care or transferring or hands-on care, that is an issue because that's what a personal support worker is trained to do. So as soon as you have someone who's a volunteer come in and do it, the liability goes through the roof because they don't really know what they're doing. People think it's easy, David. They think it's, we just move, Mr. Smith from wheelchair to bed and it's simple, easy peasy. It is not. It is not. It is actually very hard to transfer more than 85%.
And it's a skill. It's a trained
It's
skill.
a skill, yeah.
You know, one of the things that we saw when we were inside during this hidden camera investigation, we've been in and out of long-term care homes a lot over the last couple of years. You get the sense of that, you know, moving someone from a bath or a shower into a bed, or vice versa, moving someone from a wheelchair into a bed, if that goes wrong,
Oh, yeah.
people can break a hip, and at that age, breaking a hip can very quickly lead to death.
And there have been numerous deaths from people being
Oh, yeah.
dropped from lifts. I get calls, you know, fairly regularly where people are not handled properly on lifts. Either the lift doesn't. There was a whole series of lifts that didn't work a few years ago.
Yeah.
But staff, because they don't have enough staff, it may be a two-person transfer, and they try to do it with one person.
Yeah.
And that, you know, goes wrong.
There was even one thing that really surprised me because I had no awareness of it. And this is a place where trained staff are required. There's a place for volunteers, but a man got up in the morning and he was going to have his coffee, but because of the nature of his condition, they had to turn the coffee into a gel.
Yeah.
And if they didn't,
You choke.
he could choke and,
Yeah,
and
to death.
could die.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's something that you have to know, not just how to do, but to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
The questions are coming fast and furious, so I should keep going here. Joy Newman, I think we've addressed your question about volunteers. Nancy Lockhart commenting on YouTube, what can be done to lower the price of long-term care insurance? Now, I don't know a lot about long-term care insurance.
That's more Miss Jane. That's
Yeah.
not.
I long-term care insurance, it's out there.
What is it?
And so you can purchase insurance, which will help you pay for long-term care should you need it in the future.
Okay.
So it will give you, you know, some kind of funding. Most people's private insurance does not pay anything towards long-term care. There's a few plans around that might. A lot of auto workers had it. They're not going to have that in the future, obviously. But so if you move into a long-term care home, you might get a little extra money from your insurance to pay for maybe a semi-private. But you can purchase private insurance. It's not very common.
It's not very common. Anything
Yeah.
that can be done to lower the cost, or is it?
That's an industry issue. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, Nancy. There's so many things that this particular team is really good at answering. That's not one of the areas of expertise. Una Rose is asking on Twitter, do these facilities, these care facilities, recruit and have active volunteer networks? You were talking a bit about volunteers. There are, and I think you're acknowledging there's a place for them.
Absolutely, yeah.
What is that place? We've established the things that they necessarily can't do, but what are the things they can do?
I think, I see it at my grandfather's retirement home. We have volunteers that come in and they set up, little events for the residents in the home. They might do a special Valentine's Day kind of tea and cookies, or, they might bring in an outside church choir or children's choir. They organize things within the community for these residents. That's what we see a lot of. But we also see a lot of volunteers go in and they go room to room and they visit with the residents that don't necessarily come out into the common area with everyone else. And they provide that companionship and that one-on-one, that kind of just someone to talk to. I mean, if you knew how many people just sat in their rooms in long-term care every single day and didn't have one visitor, volunteers can make a world of a difference for these people.
YouTube commenters, many people are asking about ratios, and so this is the notion of how many frontline staff should there be for each resident or for a set number of residents in long-term care. That doesn't really exist in this country. You said in New Brunswick there is a...
Yes, some places do, and I think so. Speaking of Ontario, we don't have that, and I think one of the things is that we really don't know what it takes, how much it actually costs to take care of a resident, what the proper ratio is. We can make some guesses, but we really haven't had that study. There's been a study out of York University, Reimagining Long-Term Care, and so that program may have some answers, but we really need to get the answers. What the government does is they take a pot and they split it up. They don't actually say, this is how much it takes to take care of your average resident. And you have to understand the residents, the acuity has gone way up,
Oh, yeah.
in the last 10, 20 years. So we don't really know how much it costs to take care of a resident properly.
What are the ratios that we see now, say here in Ontario?
1 to 15, so one personal support worker to 15 residents on a day shift.
So is that, Is that anywhere near an acceptable
Absolutely
number?
not, because you have to realize as well, we have different, ailments, different cognitive abilities, different issues with every single resident. So, a PSW could be down at the end of one hall, and she's caring for Mrs. Smith, who's basically independent, doesn't require a lot of help. But the other end of the hall, there's Mr. Smith, who has far-stage multiple sclerosis. He's a full Hoyer lift, and he requires 2 PSWs, and he's 40 minutes to get done. So,
And that means while those 2 PSWs are involved in
no
that,
one else is getting done. Yeah.
And you also have to remember that, certainly in the province of Ontario, and I suspect it's the same elsewhere as well, the admission age is 18.
Yeah.
So we're not just talking about elderly people. We're talking about people with early Alzheimer's who are very difficult to care for. We're talking about younger people who have different kinds of physical disabilities. My youngest client right now is 26. She lives in a long-term care home.
Obviously, there are limitations, and there should be limitations on what we discuss about specific people, but can you speak generally about what would bring a 26-year-old into a long-term
So
care
what
home?
will happen is that person, for whatever reason, has a disability and can't be managed in the community. We don't have enough group homes. We don't have enough care facilities that are geared to that population. So they often end up on waiting lists. And if there's just, if they need a nurse there all the time because they have a condition that is, may flare up at any time, they end up in long-term care because that kind of care, you think the waiting lists are long for long-term care. We'll try to get them into supportive housing or assisted living, and they're longer.
I'm David Common with CBC Marketplace and CBC News, The National. We are here with Jane Meadus, who is a lawyer and works with the Advocacy Centre for the Elderly in Toronto. Miranda Ferrier represents 30,000 personal support workers, the frontline workers in Ontario long-term care homes. PSWs may be known as CCAs where you live, but it's essentially the same kind of designation. We're happy to take any questions that you might have about long-term care. Are you looking for information about one day moving into a facility yourself? Good recommendations, things to know about your parents or grandparents, any kind of questions like that, fire them our way. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, where they're streaming there right now. Just continuing along with this, Sante is asking about care in retirement homes. So perhaps we can differentiate with the difference between a retirement home and a long-term care home and what is involved there.
So I'll tell you about that, and then Miranda can tell you about the actual care. So in Ontario, and again, province by province, they're very different. In Ontario, retirement homes are tenancies. So they're like an apartment. You have the same rights as any other tenant, but you purchase care. So the care that you get in that facility, you have usually have a base package that you purchase. On top of that, they'll usually have a la carte packages where you can add on to that. You may also get services through your home care through the community. A long-term care is a publicly funded facility where you're going to pay some kind of a rate to that facility, but the health care in that facility is paid through your provincial health care.
So would the same people in the same level of need end up in two different places?
They shouldn't.
Or in those same...
They shouldn't, but they do. Because of hallway medicine and all of that, people are really pressured to go to retirement homes to get out, and that's a problem because they don't provide the same level of care. They don't have the same rules at all. And I think a lot of people think that if you pay privately, you're also going to get better care, and that may not be the case either.
Miranda.
Well, I mean, and the care is different. So if you're in a long-term care facility, you actually have care from a personal support worker. It's legislated that they have to be a personal support worker trained here in the province of Ontario. Now, if you go to a retirement home, that's viewed as public domain. So anybody, any Joe Blow can walk up off the street and get a job in a retirement home and provide your loved one with care. They can also administer medications in retirement homes as well, and that is something that personal support workers are not trained to do, and we are not allowed to administer medications in long-term care.
That's something for nurses.
That is only nurses, yes.
But as we also know, again, from the work that we've done, and this would be common knowledge to you, many facilities have one nurse, just one.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you get into rural environments where finding nurses is difficult even for the hospitals, that nurse may not even be on site.
No.
Legally, they may be required to be on site, but they simply may not be able to staff it, and so they aren't. Kim Vanderley is commenting on Facebook, we need to prioritize immigration applications to those sectors with staffing shortage. Is this something that registers with you?
I think we do
little bit.
get a lot through the immigration system.
Yeah.
I mean, we certainly see that. And maybe that's the way to do it. We've also, there's other ways to do it. You know, there's actually high school programs where you actually get your PSW designation as a high school course. And so then you're ready to go out and work right after high school.
That's one area that that we're iffy on with the association, because to be a PSW, it's not a common sense job. Like, it is a common sense job, but it's not something that you can just go out and immediately do and know exactly what you're doing. And so we always say that you need the proper training in order to be a personal support worker.
So what's the hiccup with people doing it in high school?
Well, with doing it in high school, so you have PSWs that do training through community colleges. You have PSWs that do through career colleges. And then you have PSWs that do it through the Board of Ed. I'm okay with the Board of Ed, but if they were to take the program in high school and graduate from high school as a personal support worker, then we'd seriously have to look at the standards surrounding the personal support worker.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I'm certainly not suggesting that they should have any less standards. I mean, but we really have to look at how are we going to get people, because we could just say we're going to, hire 20,000 more PSWs. There aren't 20. We can't fill the positions we have now.
No.
Estelle Ruffalo is saying there should be third-party independent inspectors with the power to start investigations and a resident and family advocate. Now, how does that relate to reality?
So in different provinces, it's different again. In Ontario, both retirement homes and long-term care do have inspections. The Retirement Home Regulatory Authority does inspections in retirement homes. The Ministry of Health does it in long-term care homes. Are they perfect? No, but there's something there. And they're all publicly available, so you can read the inspection reports for both retirement homes and long-term care homes. That does not happen in all provinces.
No, that doesn't.
Lorraine is saying on YouTube, and this is something that kept coming up with us. Lorraine's saying in the 70s, nursing homes had big gardens and monthly outings. So how did they do it? And there is a question about who is in long-term care homes now, because we are living longer. We are arriving in these homes often sicker, and we are seeing more often cases of dementia in which people are living longer and longer with unpredictable, sometimes aggressive behavior.
Absolutely. I think at this point, 7 out of 10 times they're aggressive. We're seeing a lot of aggression in long-term care, but we're also seeing mental health. And that's what a lot of people, the public doesn't quite see, is that PSWs or anybody working in a long-term care facility now, we're having to deal with mental health issues. So we're not just getting, the cute little Mrs. Smith who has, early stages dementia and requires a cup of tea. We're getting, the really angry schizophrenic or someone with bipolar. And PSWs are not trained to deal with that.
And I think the other thing you have to remember is what was in the homes of the 70s are not the homes of today at all.
No.
People drove to homes, like they would drive their car. This is not the same thing. The people who are in long-term care homes now used to be in chronic care hospitals, mental health facilities sometimes. This is a very different population that we have today than we're in the 70s. It's you can't even compare it.
No.
Jane Jones asking on YouTube, how are patient complaints handled in long-term care? Patient complaints.
So in long-term care in Ontario, you can complain to your administrator. So we're required by law to provide a response to you of how they're going to fix the problem. You can make a complaint to the Ministry of Health and they will inspect the home. The patient ombudsman in Ontario also has authority over homes. In retirement homes, you can make complaints to the Retirement Home Regulatory Authority.
Now, unfortunately, Canada's a big country, and between the 10 provinces, we don't know how every single one works. But that gives you a bit of a framework looking at if you have a complaint and you can't deal with it with the administrator, here are some potential pathways to look at. JC Julius on YouTube asking, what is the policy for nursing homes regarding their staff reporting any abuse they see? What is the policy? What are the rules?
Well, they're supposed to report.
Yeah, and for instance, in Ontario, it is a
It's
legal
mandatory.
requirement.
It's a law. You have to report. Now, whether or not they do is another question.
Yeah, and I mean that's something that came up in the Inquirer this summer.
This is
into
the wet law
deaths,
for
into
inquiry you're speaking about. Yeah.
Exactly. And
the case of, just to recap, the case of the nurse who has been convicted after pleading guilty to killing eight
people.
Eight people in long-term care homes by injecting them with insulin. Now, that is an issue, a criminal issue. Not that that's widespread, but certainly there is the question about care and how you make complaints.
Right. And so what happened was, during the inquiry, we heard from a lot of staff, and they really weren't that clear on how to report and who had to report and when you had to report. And so they didn't always do it. They sometimes left it up to the management. Sometimes the management did report, sometimes they didn't. It really wasn't clear. Other provinces don't even have that. Ontario has very robust legislation. Other provinces actually don't. And we're actually kind of lucky in the province of Ontario that way.
Murray Runge is on YouTube and saying, is it widely privatized? And Murray, I assume by that you're looking at our long-term care homes. What is the balance between public and private?
So we have basically three kinds of homes. We have municipal homes; those would be publicly funded, charitable, nonprofit, and then you have the private sector. I can't give you the exact ratios, but they'll have to follow the same rules. A lot of people like the not-for-profit sector better. There is some studies that say it is a little bit better, but to me, it's always who runs the home. So it's that administrator, what's happening in the home. That to me is like the most important thing.
Anne-Marie Rodrigue is on YouTube saying, are all PSWs trained to deal with cognitively impaired residents? Be a question for you, Miranda.
They are. You should have gotten it while you were in your training to become a personal support worker, but I'm going to be honest that the PSW program, where it be wonderful in itself, it's the novice. So the PSWs, when they're being trained, we're not getting the full gamut of cognitive impairment with the training. So it's really up to the PSW and the employers, really truthfully, to supply their PSWs and their frontline staff with that training. And as a family in long-term care, you can actually demand that.
We are here on February 1st talking about long-term care homes. So here's a question to both of you after the first month of 2019. In just the last month, what is the thing you heard that alarmed you the most about long-term care?
Probably the sort of the lack of care. I mean, we just get complaints all the time. Bed sores that are not being looked at. That's probably our number one sort of care problem, is that people are being left in bed, left in wheelchairs, not turned, left wet. They have bed sores. Those aren't reported to family members who may be making decisions. And these things are left to get quite bad. And then people end up in the hospital and often die.
I think from an association standpoint, what we've been hearing from our PSWs that's been the most alarming is how quick personal support workers are leaving the field, how we cannot keep them, the rate of abuse in long-term care on personal support workers, either amongst themselves or from resident on PSW, administration on PS, is astounding, David. That's really what really threw us for a loop, is how fast they're leaving and how we need to get them help now.
We're going to wrap it up there after a lot of really good questions. Thank you to all of you out there who came through with these questions. I'm David Common with CBC, and tonight on CBC Marketplace, it will also be on CBC Gem, our player, and on YouTube. You'll be able to see our investigation, and we take our hidden cameras inside a long-term care home to really get a sense of what happens when we're not there, to see what's happening with our mothers and fathers, our grandmas and grandpas. That's going to be on tonight. I'd like to thank very much Jane Meadus, who is here with the Advocacy Centre for the Elderly, based in Toronto, Miranda Ferrier, who represents the personal support workers in Ontario, 30,000 of them, to really give us a window on an issue that we don't talk about a lot, but is a major issue. Thanks again very much to all of you out there.